Okay, so today we are playing a game on Nepal. We are playing Soldier 76 for the first 2 rounds, and then we are playing Anna for the 3rd round. Not to spoil it or anything, but the game only goes 3 rounds one way or the other. And I'm not sure the exact SR of this game, but we're in the gold SR range. Looks to be upper gold, based on the fact there's a few diamonds sprinkled in here and there, and a silver, pretending he's a diamond, just trying to blend in with the big boys club. So, let's look at our team. This person hasn't picked yet, but they're gonna pick Mercy. Eventually. You might notice we're coming out of the gate right now in the background, and, yeah, we're like fighting on the point by the time they actually decide, so that's not great. But whatever, can't control your team. So we've got a pretty standard team. Unusual thing, we do have a Mei. Perhaps not the best game type in the world for playing Mei, but, you know, whatever, you can do whatever you want, like, who cares? And, like, this SR range, people don't even know how to play their heroes yet, most of the time, so. So they pick Anna, then they decide to change to Mercy. We're, like, at the point. That's cool. We're gonna be fighting 5v6 for a while. So we're up here on the high ground, we see Farah jump up, we try to put some damage in on the Farah. Don't quite get her. Use the biotic field here. This is a thing, with Soldier 76, is it's usually better to just go with your team, and, like, on King of the Hill, it's better to usually just go with your team, even though you can't go on to, like, this position, though this isn't, like, the best high ground in the world anyway, there's a lot of, like, shit in the way of the line of sight. But it's usually better to just go with your team, because then when your team is in, like, this kind of, like, standoff position, it's surprisingly strong to just, like, walk up behind your tank line, put the biotic field underneath them, and then walk back. Because biotic field is actually quite a bit of healing, and, like, it can give your tank line the bit extra that they need to maybe win the fight. And just on a more base, selfish level, it gives you ult charge, but even if you just, like, stay up here and do this, probably don't need to use biotic field regardless, because you've only lost 44 hit points, and you're not actually being threatened by anything, so quite a bit of the biotic field actually goes to waste, and this is like a 15-second cooldown. This is like a long-ass ability to use and not get full value out of. So, now we have to jump down because we can't really see anything, but half our team just died. And Mercy's only just arrived. That's cool. So now we don't even really want to be, like, doing this anymore. We should just be leaving, because we're fucked. Then Mercy dies, Diva's lost her mech. It's not to be. I just want to leave way faster than that, honestly, but whatever. So we don't pick up the health kit, but now your healers can get some ult charge off of you, so that's fine. Doesn't really matter either way, but, you know, it's worth mentioning. So we're trying to get some damage on the Farah. Don't kill her, unfortunate. Roadhog just pops out and kills our Tracer. We get a bunch of ult charge off of the Roadhog, though, even though we don't kill him. He's given us a small loan of 64% ult charge, so that's pretty cool. We have, however, also just lost Lucio and Reinhardt right after losing Tracer, so that means we are once again already lost 3 people. So this is not really to be. Diva's still kind of trying to advance in, and Mercy's going with her. It's like not to be, but, you know, whatever. So, important thing we actually did just see there, we saw a Widowmaker, actually. We didn't, like, see the Widowmaker, but we saw Widowmaker's bullets. So we're gonna have to be careful of, like, walking out into line of sights with this information. So our team is, like, recollecting over here, so we want to start going over there. It takes us a bit of time to decide which way to go, but we're coming over there now. We see the Widowmaker in question, and not great. We end up dying. Obviously not great. So what happens here is, first off, like, use your rockets. Like, I know Widowmaker's, like, a thin stick of a hitbox, but if you, like, hit the Widowmaker right there with the rockets, you actually would have killed her. And, like, your rockets are not a cooldown you need to prize too highly, because it's not, like, a utility ability, it just does damage, so you're trying to, like, get that damage in as much as possible most of the time. Or try to, anyway. But also, just, like, we see Widowmaker, and we, like, advance towards her in a mostly straight line, and we get shot, like, pretty solidly, and then she just, like, taps us and we die. You gotta, like, vary it up a little bit more, right? She looks like machine guns us for the last hit after hitting us. You gotta, like, vary it up more. You gotta, like, strafe back and forth, because you just kind of, like, walk at her. Not good. Not good. Long-range hit scan here. Don't usually want to just walk at them in a mostly straight line. So this is happening up here. Most of our team's dead again. It's not to be, but, D.Va's going in right now. Winston also went in. Winston died. D.Va's asking to die. So, a lot of things just all happened very suddenly right there. So we're getting a bunch of damage in on the Roadhog, and the Roadhog does eventually die. That's cool and all, but we end up dying because we're just getting drilled by Tac Visor over there. As soon as you realize you're getting shot at by Tac Visor, just kind of get out of the way. It's great we put all this damage into Roadhog, but even if we kill the Roadhog, it doesn't do anything, really, because we already have our ult, and we have to wait for the team to come back. Just, get out of the way of the Tac Visor, Pretty self-explanatory. When you realize you're getting hit, you get out of the way. So now we're going in. Our whole team is finally back together again at a casual 86% charge for the enemy team, but what, percent charge, progress. So Farah's on top of us right there. That's really scary. We're kind of behind the team as they go in, and then just she pops out right there. We use Tac Visor, that's fine, though the target prioritization not necessarily the best, because we start trying to just drill into the Roadhog. We know Farah's right behind us. I'd spin around and try to kill the Farah. This Roadhog has already used his hook. We can see him using it right now. That's not scary. We don't need to use Tac Visor on Roadhog. He's a big, juicy, beefy boy anyways. And then I would have just turned around and focused the Farah immediately upon using Tac Visor. And if we kill Farah quicker, we don't lose both of our supports here, which is obviously better than losing both of our supports. Though, honestly, probably you could also argue that you didn't even need to use Tac Visor at all, because it was only, a Roadhog and a Farah, and you could argue that, you should be able to shoot both of them, but aim better isn't particularly helpful advice. I would have just turned to shoot the Farah quicker, before she could barrage. We also, knew she had barrage as well, because, she hasn't used her ultimate the entire game, so she, definitely has it as we're coming in there. So she's a bit more of a higher priority than Roadhog anyway. So now we've got some control of the ground, of the point right there. Didn't need to use that biotic field. You're not being threatened by anything, and you could have just let your healers get some ult charge off of you, and you just use this long cooldown for, no reason. Not great. Don't do that. So we're getting into, a scuffle with the other soldier. No one's really accomplishing anything very much. It's pretty unlikely anybody will kill anybody in this kind of fight. Everyone's just, building ult off each other. Very scary. Roadhog just, popped out right next to us. We got a bunch of damage in. We got 70% ult charge. Thanks, Roadhog. So we've gotten a bunch of damage into Farah. Farah's floating up in the sky. She's got a Mercy following her around, which makes it really difficult. Right now, you gotta, turn to focus the Mercy quicker. As soon as you figure out it's a Farah and a Mercy, shooting Farah isn't really much of an option anymore. You just gotta switch to Mercy immediately, or try to switch to the Mercy if you can't, try to find her. But then we get hooked from, 10 miles away and we die, just, out of the corner. So, it, pops out, hooks us. Not much you can really do about that, because you're, shooting at someone else. So it's just, sometimes you get hooked. So we need to get control of the Bois, according to Lucio. Indeed, we are losing control of the Bois, but, our whole team's dead. We've got Tac Visor, that's cool and all, but yeah. Just, go up and try to touch the point. Everyone, we all know you're gonna, go up and touch the point and just immediately die, but at least try, right? At least go up there and try. You never know. Some chance is better than no chance at all. So let's skip through this prep phase. There we go. So we're on Sanctum now. Sanctum's a really good map for Soldier, because you can just sit up on the rim and just, shoot at everybody else. You got a huge zone of threat you can set up. So now, of course, we don't really know which way we want to go out. If you don't mind talking to people, just, say a direction, and, maybe they'll go that way, maybe they won't go that way. Usually what happens is your team just gets the path and then splits off half and half each anyway. But the way you come out, this isn't really the way you want to come out, because the way you come out does actually, matter on Sanctum, because both sides are, kind of different, right? You as Soldier 76, you are a mid to long range hero. More long range, You want to come out on the left-hand side over here. Reason being, this is a more open area. So you come out here, you can just, like, sit on the rim, you can, like, come up here, start fighting at people over there, you can, like, you see the whole area, you've got long sight lines, you've got more space to work with, which Soldier wants. Soldier doesn't like being close to people. This is the way you come out if you want, or if you're playing a more short-ranged hero like Reaper or like May, something like that, because this is the more confined area. Usually you like Tracer also, you know, because you come around this way, it's more confined. If you find people over here, you can just sort of start fighting them in this confined area where you want to be if you're like Reaper or something like that, and you can try to like get around behind people, something like that, you know, like Tracer's doing right now. Soldier hates people being on top of him, so this is not the side of Sanctum that you usually want to come out onto as Soldier. Anyway. Even just like McCree doesn't mind being close to people, but Soldier not so much. So, and now you also can't like see as well from over here, right? Like this is kind of the same thing as being over there, because we can see this whole area, but we can't see like in these doorways, and we can't see like around this corner at all, which you could if you were on like the other side of the rim. So, you know, it's something to think about. So, don't really need to be coming to stand on the point right now, but we do indeed just back up immediately. That's the cool thing about this map and Soldier. You can just sit on the rim and just, like, shoot into the point. It's also, like, scarier because this way you, like, standing over by the staircase, you're closer to people like Roadhog who are standing on the point, right? And then over on the other side, you're further away from them, get harder to get hooked, things like that. There's a bunch of reasons to be standing over there as someone like Soldier, basically. So we got a Pharah floating around up here. We're getting a little bit panicked because she's getting us low, but she ends up falling back, so it's all fine. Don't kill her, that sucks, you know, whatever. Trying to get Pharah, we managed to kill Pharah, fantastic. We've killed the other Roadhog. Our Tracer just got killed by Zenyatta. Feels bad, man. But we're starting to get some ground in here. We just picked off their Soldier. Everything's going swimmingly. And, they still have a Widowmaker. That's really scary. This is actually, we've been nano boosted, like, without Tac Visor, which really, really sucks. Oh, God, it doesn't feel so good. We don't even really get to, like, see very many people, and we feel pressured to come stand on the point. Like, I wouldn't come stand on the point. As soon as I get nano boosted in this situation, I'm just gonna start walking more left, more that way. That's the way to point. That way, across the rim, and just, like, try to see people. Because, like, we come to stand on the point. That's really scary. We don't want to be standing on the point as Soldier 76 on this map, right? Because it's really scary to stand on the point on Sanctum. Because, like, think of the map, right? Think of Sanctum, right? I know we're on Sanctum. Think of Sanctum. Basically, it's a box surrounded by another box. It's like, so they just, if you're standing on the point, like, this is one of the most exposed points you can possibly be standing on, because you're being threatened from every single direction off of the point. So we don't really want to come to stand on here if we're playing, if, like, at all, honestly. Like, this is, like, where tanks come to stand, because it's really scary if you're not. So we're getting fucked from a lot of directions right now. Like, we lost our Reinhardt because of Widowmaker, and then Roadhog kind of just pops out next to us. Right there, like, you get some damage on the Roadhog, I'd just turn and sprint away, honestly. Because, like, we're already losing ground, it's unlikely you make any sick plays right there. Soldier, pretty mobile guy. You can just, like, turn tail and run, and sometimes, like, more often than not, you actually just get away, because Soldier is a surprisingly mobile hero. So we're all starting to recollect. Oh, Roadhog missed his hook. Great. Just got flashbang from behind. We get to just kill Roadhog because he's overextended. Fantastic. Again, we're coming out the side we don't really necessarily want to come out of because it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit harder for us to work with. But they do also have a Widowmaker, and you've got more cover to work with over here as well. So, you know, it's something. So we have got Tac Visor. Other Soldier, he's using his Tac Visor. Just get out of the way. Don't need to use your Biotic Field right there. You're not actually being threatened anymore around the corner. You're already being healed, so that's a waste of a cooldown. Important. So we're using Tac Visor, and we're walking onto the point. We don't want to walk on the point. Oh, that's real scary, especially when we're using Tac Visor, so we've drawn a bunch of aggro. Unfortunately, Zenyatta uses his Transcendence. We do still manage to kill Pharah, so that's cool. And, oh god, thank goodness, we got, important thing we just saw right there. So we're fighting this Roadhog, right? Widowmaker's behind us, actually, right now. Roadhog is scary, yes, but, like, watch what happens, right? So this happens, this is really scary, Anna bails us out. We get shot from behind. This is a Widowmaker bullet, we also hurt her. Then she, like, tries to shoot us again. I turn around and try to kill that Widowmaker. We figure it out, but she's, like, already bailed on us by that point. Like, Widowmaker standing right behind you, that's pretty, like, top priority. Especially since Roadhog's already falling back, because he got, like, the grape juice on him. And he was low HP. She actually gets run down by Anna, so isn't that funny? And now we're just trying to put some damage in on the point. Farah's floating around doing a bunch of damage. And she unfortunately kills us. Sorry, excuse me. Farah got quite a lot of work done right there. It's, like, surprisingly hard to kill Farah as Soldier 76, so it's like, yeah, you're supposed to kill Farah, but it's also, like, kind of hard to kill Farah. Especially since we had so many things to worry about at the time as well. So, but now we are going to change. Somebody asked if they can go Soldier. They say, you know, yeah, sure, whatever. So we're gonna change to Anna. We change off, then we change to Anna. We think about it, but we're going to change to Anna. We should be skipping through this. I don't know why I'm sitting here watching this. So our team just changed quite significantly right there. Probably an upgrade overall. Well, we traded a Mercy for an Anna, which is, like, as far as I'm concerned, definitely an upgrade, especially on King of the Hill. Mercy not so great on King of the Hill. So we do want to go up on the high ground. We want to go up the ramp on the side, but you do have to kind of try and get your team to go with you. I hate Village so much because people just won't go on the fucking high ground with you. I'm, like, almost in Masters and people still just don't want to come up on the high ground ever, and it always really upsets me. We'd rather come fight over here. Whatever. So, we've come over this way, you know, that sucks, but, you know, whatever, and their team is, like, kind of coming over this way. Now, we're playing Anna now. Anna, as far as I'm concerned, is a much better counter to Farah for, like, this exact reason, right? You've got no fall-off damage, you're a sniper, you've only got to hit her 3 times to kill her, it's pretty safe, like, it's pretty easy. So... a little bit scary that we're standing off around here. I wouldn't recommend standing over here because of the way the fight's, like, going right now. Because, like, there's our Roadhog to the right of us right now, so this is a very scary place to stand. I'd start going around the other side of the building, basically, so, because this is a scary place to be standing. We trank the Roadhog. There's a soldier over here as well. Oh, we're trying to kill him. We don't quite kill him. You know, that sucks. It happens. Roadhog's just poking in, trying to get us. We throw in a grenade. That's a good grenade. We got our Reinhardt with it as he's being hooked, and we also got Roadhog with it. And our Grit Dart was on cooldown, so we can't try and do that one. So, it's great. Awesome. Great. And it forces Roadhog to fall back. However, we're standing in, like, the worst place we could possibly be standing right now, because, like, why did we actually come over here? Because we're doing, like, you don't need to come this close to what's already happening, and then we get, like, shot by Widowmaker, and we're not entirely sure where it came from, but we come and stand in this super exposed position at, like, low HP. I mean, when you're playing Anna, you gotta be careful of, like, walking towards the thing that's happening, because Anna, like, to put it in academic terms, does a fuck ton of healing from very fucking far. And we see this happening, we start walking closer. Don't need to do that. And then, like, we're safe. We're, like, standing all the way back here, everybody's over here, and we just, like, whoa, dig into this corner, and then we just get killed. Just, like, stay over by the other doorway, right? Don't even need to come that far forward and get shot to begin with. This is, like, a nitpicky thing, but, like, don't watch the kill cam. Only reason to watch the kill cam is if you think the other person has an aimbot, or you're checking what their ult charge is, cause it's better to just, like, know what's going on with your team during that 10-second period. So we're starting to lose this fight a little bit. We're trying to get the Zenyatta. We don't get the Zenyatta. That sucks, but, like, we've, like, lost this fight, so we're gonna have to wait for our team to come back anyway. Soldier's overstaying his welcome. We're coming in. Got both the tanks again with that. We are, again, getting a lot closer than we need to. Cause we don't, like, what we're doing right here, we could be doing from 10 feet back, and we'd be safer and doing everything that we're still doing right now. So now we are, like, sitting right next to our Reinhardt. We're trying to shoot this here Farah. Very scary, though, cause we're fighting her with, like, no hit points. Cause this has all happened. We're, like, low HP. We're at full HP, sorry. But then we take a direct hit, and now we continue trying to fight Farah. And Farah only has to, like, wing us, and we die. It's, like, the time to start falling backwards at that point when you get hit. But, I mean, Farah's, like, over you. She's got a lot to work with. You probably die. But it's not the time to sit and try and fight her. So we have built up Nano Boost. That's pretty cool. We've got a bunch of people that we can ult. We can ult Soldier. We can ult Reaper. We can ult Reinhardt. We can ult Diva if we have to. Like, we can ult a bunch of people. So it feels pretty good to be playing Ana. So we're coming up here with the Soldier. This is where we want to be, if at all possible. Don't try not to, like, do that. Okay, so there's a few things here that we want to try not to do, right? So let's go back and look at all of these things. So first off, we're sitting up here with Soldier. This is where we want to be. Like, this is where we want to approach the point from, but we need our team to work with us on this one. So we gotta be, like, paying attention to see where our team is actually going, because they don't actually come up here. We're just sitting up here with Soldier. And we need to be with our team since we're, like, the main healer. Second thing, try not to get into a fight with another Widowmaker, because it's a very heavily stacked in Widowmaker's favor. Because you need to hit Widowmaker 3 times to kill her. She only needs to hit you once, or twice, you know, usually. But it's also just, like, hitbox-wise, it's a really slanted matchup. Because, as we established earlier, Widowmakers are, like, a really thin stick. Widowmaker's quite hard to hit. Think about Ana, right? She's, like, hunched over, low to the ground, right? So she's, like, she's, like, a fairly big hitbox, actually, because she's, like, hunched over. And her head is more offset to the front of her hitbox. You can't headshot Widowmaker at all, but, like, your head is actually quite easy to hit because it's on the front of your model. So it's just, like, really, really slanted in, like, Widowmaker's favor for a bunch of reasons, so you don't want to get involved in that most of the time. Then we ult the Soldier. We want to do that, sure enough, but, like, we don't, like, notice how low he is, and we ult him when he's at low HP. Miraculously, he actually survives, but, like, that's not great to ult somebody that's that low HP. But it's all worked out. We've managed to get in towards the point. Soldier uses his tac visor. It's one of the worst tac visors in recorded history, so it feels pretty good for us. So now, this is the unfortunate thing about this map is it's a little bit hard to find somewhere to stand as Ana because you can't see onto the point, so you have to stand, like, off to the side. Better probably to stand off on the left-hand side of it, because this side is the side the enemy team usually approaches from. Because they, like, ideally they're coming in off the high ground, ideally for them anyway, so, and then the left-hand side, like, you're a little bit more dug in, you're a little bit more protected, that kind of thing, right? Because you, like, sit back in these rooms and, like, see onto the point and be healing people, and that's all you have to do. You don't necessarily have to see the enemy team. So we need to heal ourselves. We come over and, like, throw it on the Reinhardt as well, so that's good. We're trying to get the Farah, can't quite get the Farah, feels bad, and, oh god, we got hooked, but Diva saved us, feels good.
That poop saved my life.
So, Reaper has just killed a bunch of people over here with his Death Blossom, amazingly enough, and so that means that we get to just sit here and relax for like 10, 20 seconds. Great. Everything's going well so far. Well, I mean, for this round. Obviously, we're 0-2 right now, so not everything is going fantastically, but this is going pretty well. So, now, unfortunately, like, some of our team is, like, up there, so we can't really see them properly. This is not the best use of a grenade ever, because you just don't need to use it right there. Ana's grenade, really, really strong, and this is not a good use. We're throwing it on him when he's full HP. You don't really want to do that. We're also full HP when we do it, because then you're not getting everything out of the grenade. The grenade is really strong because it does a bunch of things, right? It heals people. It does damage. It puts a healing buff on your allies, and it puts a debuff on your enemies. So ideally, you throw it in on like, if you can get, like, both Reinhardts with your grenade, you just win the fight 9 times out of 10 because it's just that slanted in your favor. But you don't want to throw it on somebody at full HP, not yet fighting. Ideally, you're trying to get, like, multiple allies or multiple enemies or, like, some of both, right? You don't really just want to throw it on somebody before the fight starts, because that's a fucking long cooldown. That's a 10-second long cooldown right there, and it's, like, the strongest thing about Ana, honestly. Like, the grenade is really, really strong, so that's not a very good use of it. So we're getting, like, oh god, this has happened right here. This is, like, kind of your fault when this kind of thing happens. Because, like, the Pharah has managed to sneak up on us, and that's how you play Pharah, obviously, she's just, like, popped out. But when you're playing Ana, Pharah is, like, pretty high on your list of concerns, because you're good at killing Pharah, first off, that's one thing, but you can, like, stop that from happening. Because if you know the Pharah is coming in, you can just trank the Pharah, and then, boop, barrage is gone. Don't have to worry about it anymore. So you do have to kind of just, like, be paying attention to where the Pharah is. Like, she comes around the backhand side and flanks us. That's, like, how you want to try and use barrage. So it's, like, well executed on her part, but you do have to be vigilant of that kind of thing happening when there's a Pharah on the enemy team and you're playing Ana. Because you can actually just shut it down. So we've lost control of the point. You know, not surprising considering they came in with a bunch of ultimates. So we gotta wait for our team to come back. A little scary to be peeking out right there, but, you know, it's as long as you don't die, it's fine also. Then the enemy team comes in, and, oh, it's a little bit scary. Lucio's come back, he's healing us up now. I pick up the health kit, everything's fine. Excuse me, Jesus Christ. So we've got Nano Boost. Nobody else has their ultimates. We kind of want them to tell us if they're close, but that doesn't usually happen. So we're just going to go in. We've taken a bunch of damage coming in, throw a grenade at our feet, that's fine, we get ourselves in a bunch of people, but we just got shot by Widowmaker, and it feels pretty bad. It's like, it's a very panicky situation. We weren't exactly sure what we were supposed to do right there, and we ended up just getting picked off. Here's what I'd do, right? So we're going in together right now, we take a big bunch of damage. I'd throw the grenade at my feet right here like this, but then instead of going onto the point, I'd go into the room behind us. Like, well, not to behind us, but the room over, like, that way. Because in there, you're pretty out of the way. People don't usually come in there. If they do come in there after you, you can just trank them and run away. But you're a lot safer over there, because, like, you get dropped low, and then you go onto the point, which is the most exposed location you can go to. And we, like, go in ahead of our team, and we get just picked off by their Widowmaker, and it feels bad. We're, like, panicky, we don't know what to do. It's also worse when you're playing Ana and you're, like, in the middle of your team, because it's harder to keep track of anything. You have to keep track of a lot of things when you're playing Ana. And just, like, standing in the room back there, it's easier to do that, because you can see more of your team and more of the enemy team than if you're just, like, in the middle. So, and we end up dying. Our team ends up dying. We didn't even get to Nano Boost. Feels bad. We're gonna get, like, one last try at this, but it's gonna be a really bad one, because we have to start going in now. So we just Nano Boost the Reinhardt. We miss our grenade on them. That feels really bad. Oh, God, just gets pushed away. Oh, don't even get to touch the point. Oh, God, and then far, just fucking Evan. Am I right? So it feels pretty bad. So things to work on. I would say positioning, broadly speaking, across, like, Soldier and Ana, positioning is a thing. Like, the first rank got kind of the right idea at the start where you want to go stand up on the high ground, but that's, like, not the best high ground in the game to take advantage of. More than anything else, you just kind of want to be with your team. And, like, Soldier, like, biotic field under your tank line is actually pretty good. You give up being able to do that to go stand on high ground that isn't actually very helpful, because you can't really see anything that's happening on the point. Better just go with your team. And generally, you just want to be with your team in most situations. Not, like, super far up. Like, when your Reinhardt's going in to fight people, you don't go in with the Reinhardt when you're playing Soldier, right? You're, like, a longer range hero, but you just want to be with your team, usually. When you're playing, and, like, on Sanctum, you want to go stand off more to the side, so you've got, like, a bigger area of threat. You can see people better. rather than standing off in the more enclosed area, which is where you want to go if you're playing like McCree, Reaper, something like that, the more closed off area. Playing Anna, we put ourselves in the peril a lot of the time. We're going to be standing really far away, but we go stand up closer to things than we need to go stand close to. When we get damaged, we run off into the danger rather than away from the danger, and it's something. So, Soldier, just like stay with your team, like, and try to have long sight lines. High ground is part of it, but Nepal isn't really a map where you get to take advantage of much high ground, because there isn't really that much good high ground. Even like the high ground on Village, like that's where you want to go, because the high ground overlooks the point, but you can't actually see onto the point that well, right? Like, so Nepal doesn't actually have that much good high ground, so you just kind of stick with your team. High ground is important for Soldier, though. Nepal, not so much. It's better to just be with your team. And just, like, long sight lines, obviously. That's, like, Soldier's thing. That's why he's really good on Sanctum. Long sight lines. Just sit over there and shoot people. And then, like, cooldown use, like, there's a couple times we use our grenade that we don't need to use our grenade. The biotic field we use a bunch of times that we don't need to use the biotic field. Like, these are long cooldowns. You kind of have to be a bit deliberate when you use them. There's like a 15-second cooldown on biotic field. Anna's sleep dart's 12 seconds. That wasn't really an issue in this game, but like Anna's sleep dart is 12 seconds, her grenade is 10 seconds. These are all really long cooldown abilities, so you have to be kind of careful how you use them. Soldier's rockets, though, not so much. Those you want to just be like throwing in as much as possible, because it's just damage. It's not like a utility ability that you might need to survive a fight. It's just damage. So you just want to put it in there as much as possible to do damage to people. Just like shooting it, even if you're just like neutral, sitting with your Reinhardt staring at the other Reinhardt, just like throwing your rockets into the shield as much as possible is kind of important. A lot of soldiers, they sit there like, no, I need to save these rockets so that I can actually finish people with it. Just, like, use it to do more damage, right? That's, like, Soldier's thing, is that he is a consistent, moderate damage dealer. Just want to put as much consistent damage in as possible. That's, like, Soldier's thing. So, that's the major points that stood out to me. So, yeah, positioning. Be with team. Don't stand near danger. Sightlines. Position where there's better sightlines, not the confined areas. And careful of using cooldowns frivolously. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. And I hope you found the video helpful.